Welcome back to the podcast, Jackie Herring. Sorry, am I on the new Jackie Herring podcast, or are you on the old Fitter Radio podcast? Are you a podcaster, or are you still a professional triathlete?
Oh, great intro. I am now identifying as both a podcaster and a professional triathlete. Brand new pod. It's called The Women's Race, so I will not be having you on as a guest. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I feel affronted. But in saying that, though, how many episodes under your belt?
I've recorded and released one episode.
Okay.
I just recorded with Paula Finley. I had to bring a friend who's also an experienced podcaster, so she has all the gear and also knows how to just chat through a podcast. So it was like a easy starter one, which people seem to like so far.
I think for many years, and I've attempted to always have a female voice in some way, shape or form on my podcast for the very reason that I think it's a perspective that I enjoy. But I actually really like the fact that you're bringing, at a time when I think women's professional triathlon, especially the long course stuff, is so exciting. And there's so many personalities. And I mean, I'm not going to age you here, but you've been through a number of generations of triathlon now, and you see where the future's going. And we're talking about women's racing as more than we ever have. So is that one of the reasons that you thought it was valid to maybe add your voice to that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're right. It really is an exciting time for women's racing. There's more fast women than we've ever had. A lot of these races, the competition is more interesting sometimes than the men. Sometimes it's a little boring if you just have like Taylor out front doing her thing. But in a lot of races, there's a lot of really interesting dynamics playing out. And one of the reasons I wanted to start the podcast is there are the very interesting dynamics, of course, at the front, who's going to win. But there's also a lot going on that gets missed in that even like third, fourth, fifth, sixth of women that are really, really fast, but also women that are maybe up and coming that are going to be the names we're talking about in 3, 4, 5 years. So as somebody who, as you said, has been around, I've been racing middle long distance for 15 years now. It's been really, really fun to see kind of just the evolution of the sport, new names coming up, seeing how long older names stick around. And it gives me a bit of insight where I see some of these younger gals and I'm racing with them and I can see and feel who has kind of the right attitude, the right drive, and just like some talent that I can see that maybe there'll be somebody we're going to be talking about for a while.
Do you think that it's also your elder statesperson in the sport that allows you to launch this podcast and have some conversations with some of the younger athletes? Because I think at times some of the females don't really want to divulge too much to the other female athletes as to what's going on. But you were like, don't take this the wrong way, a bit of a mother hen, especially for a lot of the North Americans.
Yeah, I feel good about being that way. And I'm still racing pro and I'm still doing well, but I think also a lot of women don't see me as a humongous threat. I'm not like this uber competitive cutthroat. I'm out there and I try to create a supportive and team environment type of atmosphere when I'm racing. And I encourage the other women. I actually don't care if somebody beats me or not. If I'm doing the best I can, I hope that they're also doing the best they can. And I will try to beat them. But if they're able to beat me, then good job to them. And I feel happy for them. So I hope that people will feel open to come on the pod and chat with me. And most of all, if someone doesn't want to have an interview and just talk about themselves the whole time, we can just talk about women's racing. And I think when you're in it, it doesn't have to be like, I hope that I'm not talking about me too much on this podcast. I want to talk about the other people and the other exciting stories that are happening besides whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting. I think, talking about your most recent race in Texas, you and Grace Tech running side by side, and some of the social posts that went up about maybe even the conversations that you and Grace were having in the first kilometre of the run is maybe the way I view your position in the sport. Like you say, there's an internal drive to beat that person, but externally, you don't come across as that type of athlete at all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Grace and I spent many hours together that day, maybe like 7 hours practically within 3 feet of each, well, however far many bike lengths you have to be, but we were together all day long. And, I was a little ahead of her coming into T2, and I could have left without her, and I could have ran, you know, 20 yards in front of her the whole way. But how boring is that? Honestly, like, I hate running by myself for that long. So I kind of waited in transition, asked how she was feeling. I checked her over and assessed her. She looked pretty good. So I'm like, you want to run? And we had already chatted about that before the before the race. I had approached her and said, hey, if we're by each other, I'm going to run somewhere. I was thinking I would run under 2:55. I'm like, I'm going to run somewhere between 2:50 and 2:55. If we're together, you want to run together and we can knock out this Kona slot. And she said, yes, please. Let's do it. So we had a plan. We did the plan.
That is very rare in female racing. I think I'm going to give you some
Anyone
credit
who
here.
wants to be with me, that's what we're running. If you want to come hang out on the bike ride,
Absolutely.
I'll take you through this Ironman.
And are you saying pro Ironman pacer for hire?
Yeah. You don't even have to hire me. I just enjoy it.
Brilliant. Well, I actually think philosophically, looking in from the outside, I've interviewed you once. I used to coach a friend of yours in Wisconsin, Patrick Brady, who you know really well. He's helped you a lot with your cycling over the years as well. And when we last spoke on the podcast in 2019, I went through the messages that we exchanged in advance and post that interview. And way back in 2019, you've always taken this very philosophical approach to the sport. It's not what defines you. I think you're a mum and family person first, and you just so happen to do triathlon as a sport because it appears that up until just now, and what I'm going to say in the last few years, you haven't taken it that seriously.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's sports. I take it as seriously as a person can. I think I did not take it seriously before I had kids, and then after I had kids, at first I couldn't take it too seriously or I would have got stressed out about it. I just had to have it on a back burner as I raised my young children. They're 2 years apart, and I think I would have possibly quit if I would have got too serious about it during that time, because I'm not a very standard type A dialed in type of triathlete. I have to hold things loosely and leave space for what actually feels like the most important thing. And for a few years there, getting the kids out of diapers was definitely the most important project I needed to be working on. So I was doing that, and I was training as best I could just because that's what I enjoy doing. So when I got back into racing, I found myself in better shape than I thought I would even be in. And that's when we chatted in 2019. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at that time. And I was just, trying to navigate schedules and find my way as a new mom. And I'd say it's completely different now than back then because my kids are in school. I have had a few years settled in this routine, and I've really, I think, found my footing with what works for me for training and taking it seriously or whatever I'm doing now. I still hold it loosely. If it wasn't working, I wouldn't be doing it. I just like it.
Brilliant. I think it works. I think more
Yeah.
athletes need to understand if we make it the be all and end all, it's a difficult sport to have consistent success in. And if you can sort of release some of the pressure that builds up if you're racing professionally, I think you'll be better as a result of it. And if I remember back in 2019, it was a pretty decent year for you. From a performance standpoint, a lot of 70.3 victories. But I
Yeah.
remember when we were chatting back then, I mean, we were chatting afterwards to say, how can we, how can I improve my swimming? Because at that point of the year, through winter, you were off snowshoe running. You were doing everything else other than swimming. And I think your training volume at that point was maybe 12 hours a week or something like that. It was not a lot. It was certainly didn't fit into what we would say that classical pro approach to the sport at that point in time.
Yeah, well, that's what you do when you got little kids. Like I was maxing out what I could do, and that happened to be 12 hours. I remember I did one 14-hour week and I was like smashed. I was dead. And that's the crazy thing. I think I won maybe like 4 70.3s that year.
Yeah.
And the level was different. We hadn't hit the like COVID bump of magically everybody becoming good and all the money coming in. So it was much easier, I would say, to pull off wins here and there. But it was a lot of the same girls that are still racing now. So I don't know what was going on, but I was managing. I actually can't imagine only training 12 or 14 hours now. That would be really strange. I did on my rest week after Texas where I did nothing. I think I was like 7 hours and I felt like I had done literally 0. So I don't know.
It's all perspective, isn't it? It's all perspective. When other areas of your life free up and you can fit some more training in, you can fit some more training in. And then what's normal changes a little bit. But you'd also taken full distance off the table. I think the 2015 might have been when you weren't doing full distance racing anymore, just concentrating on the halves. We go through COVID, and then all of a sudden, Jackie Herring's name pops up on a full distance start list again. And am I right in saying Hamburg? Was it Hamburg?
Yeah, 2024. Yeah.
Was that because of the Pro Series, or did you just feel it was the right time in your life to from being able to train a bit more to step back into the full distance racing?
It was those things and one other thing. It was the timing. Both of my kids had that year started going to school.
Brilliant.
So I had more time. So I was like, finally my mind realized that this could be an option. I actually had time to get the long rides in, time to be a human and, actually have some more hours in the day to get stuff done. And the announcement of the Pro Series was like really interesting to me because the reason I got into Ironman full distance racing right out of the gates, I just started triathlon and signed up for an Ironman. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I didn't do any short course. I didn't do any of that stuff. So to me, the announcement of the Pro Series was like triggered this like interesting part that was like, oh, this is like a challenge, almost like the very first Ironman was a challenge, where this one's like, oh, of course I know I can do an Ironman, but can I do 3 good Ironmans and 2 good 70.3s all in 1 year? That is an actual challenge, as we're seeing, the last few years. Like it's hard for a lot of people are trying and not everyone can pull it off. It's hard to do.
It is.
And then the third thing was I had been doing 70.3s straight from 2019 till that year, 2024. Yep. And it was getting extremely boring for me. It was, I know exactly what is going to happen. I know exactly what to do. And I can literally go the exact same time every single time. Nothing is going on here.
Is that from racing the North American circuit? It sort of became a little bit rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it's all the same people. You know the courses.
Yep.
Like my body doesn't do weird things in a 70.3. You just know exactly how it's going to go. So I was getting bored and I was almost like, I think I'm going to retire. Like, I think I'm going to be done because I'm bored out my mind. And then they announced, which was weird because I was doing well and making good money, but I get bored easy, so I'm not going to just keep going.
Well, if
But
it's
they
not money
announced
that's driving you, if it's not money that's driving to stay in the sport, albeit I'm pretty sure second in the Pro Ironman series, winning the European champs, it came with a nice financial bonus at the end of 2024.
Yeah. Too bad I spent it all in one place, but that's money comes and goes. Yeah, the Pro Series was like, okay, here's this challenge. It's also got a nice incentive, so I thought, let's give it a go, and I love it. It's really fun to try.
It is fun to try. It's that year, I mean, winning European champs as well, like going across racing in Europe. I mean, an unfamiliar race, unfamiliar to a certain extent competition, a whole new environment, going back to the full distance, but winning on your return to the full distance. I think with a 2:52 marathon, we've always known that the run is your one of your strengths. It must be huge. It's got to be one of the highlights of your racing career.
Yeah. And, a win is a win, but for me, it's the feeling you have during a race. And in that particular day, I had that super special feeling that you just do not get very often. It was just a day. Like everything was easy.
Yeah.
The whole day. It was just smooth. It was easy. I could go hard if I wanted to, and it felt fine. It was just like such a day. I just loved that day so much. It's funny leading into that race too. Like, as you said, it was my first Ironman back after 9 years off. I had really no clue. One of the Ironman people was interviewing my husband, Mark, and they said, "Oh, what does she think she's going to run for the marathon?" And he kind of asked me, like, "What do you think you're going to run?" I'm like, I actually have no clue. I hadn't even considered or thought of a pace that would be appropriate. I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to run however I run. Like, I hadn't even used the term marathon pace in my training. I just knew how fast I could run a 70.3, and I figured it would be a little bit slower than that.
Welcome to the world of the scientific preparation of Jackie Herring for full distance.
It's wonderful. It's the most non-stress prep you can ever do. Like, whatever you're doing in 70.3, just dial it back a little and keep running.
Then during the event, you can never be disappointed with whatever happens in the moment because you didn't have any preconceived ideas.
That's what I'm saying. You're always set up for success. Expectations.
Expectations
for real, though,
ruin everything.
They ruin everything. People go into races with your expectations somewhere. How rare is it that you're actually gonna land in that spot?
Honestly.
And then you're like playing mental gymnastics the whole time.
Honestly,
it's just not.
That's the best piece of advice. Honestly, the best piece of advice that I think I've heard, and it's however long I've been doing this podcasting for age group athletes. Because, a lot of coaches out there sell their services based on this highly analytical approach to the sport. And like you said, how are you going to be absolutely sure you're going to turn up able to do that? And if you're not at that mark, the moment you're below it, the amount of disappointment that floods in, and then everything can downward spiral from there. So I'm not going to say it's being completely oblivious to your potential, but in some respects, it's like, let's just see what happens on the day.
Yeah. I have this like thing that I think of and thing that I tell people. I don't coach right now at this moment because I don't have space for it. But I used to coach a lot of people. And before the race, I make people practice saying, like, release expectations, release it. And then the saying that you have to say during the race, which I still do, is, if you happen to look at you're looking at your bike computer and it doesn't say what you want, I'm very strict with you're not allowed to make any judgments during the race. No judgments. You see something, we're not judging it. You just see it, whatever it is.
Move on.
keep going, right?
Absolutely. You've got to get to the finish line. Like, it's better to
what's the
just
number going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. And 9 times out of 10, it's a number that's been selected by either coach or athlete, which is a world record number, a number that they've probably never been able to. They're trying to better their best ever race, and so they go in there and disappointed that they're not hitting that, not realizing that an Ironman's a long day. And I'm sure you've had these situations where the bike feels rubbish, but the run feels incredible.
Yeah, that can happen. That happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, returning to the full distance racing and the Pro Series, as much as, like you say, the money's just nice if it comes, that was a huge season for you. And the Pro Series sort of lit that fire back underneath you in a way that got you really excited about moving forward again in 2025. And I think also am I right in saying that you're super happy with the Nice World Champs result as well, going top 10 at the World Champs on a pretty demanding bike course?
Yeah, that was a tough day for me because I was in really good shape and I got extremely sick that week. So I wasn't able to eat. I was just so sick. So I was, really, really proud of that race and even just getting through it because I was really on the struggle bus all week. So proud of that. It would not be, I would say, a course that suits me necessarily because I don't live by any mountains whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to done better, but it's the best I could possibly do. That's for sure.
Well, talking about the Pro Series and the challenges of race selection to optimize overall result, we've already seen some spanners thrown in the work of some of the other female athletes, this year as well. Like if we think of Kat Matthews at Texas and the puncture and so forth, well, you've been in the same position in 2025, I think. Was it a puncture returning to Hamburg or was it Frankfurt?
Yeah. No, it was in Hamburg. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that really makes people, it's not easy if you have to sort of pivot really quickly and make another decision. But last year that worked really well for you. Hello, Australia. Here I am. Different race. Again, challenging you to adapt and race in a new environment against new faces and so forth. But a really smart decision last year. But that makes it really difficult in getting the season right for success overall in the Pro Series.
Yeah, I think part of it is, you have to make the schedule that you think is going to work for you, races that suit you, races that excite you, and ones that you actually want to do is key, and ones you think you can be ready for and do well. But then there's also this component, which I experienced in Oceanside, which is, you can still have a good day and maybe the competition or the day unfolds in a way that doesn't go suit you pretty much.
Okay.
Solving and Taylor are really fast right now. They're in really good shape. I think my Texas score is a little bit low, but it could still be okay depending what happens with the other two Ironmans. So I'll keep that one. But as far as what happened with Oceanside, and then what I know as far as now who's going to Hamburg, after Oceanside, actually, I changed my schedule because I just took a look at it and said, okay, what's important to me? I do want to do well in the Pro Series. So I got to change things up to try and maximize my points.
Yep.
I do well in North American 70.3. So I just kind of rearranged it to switch my second Ironman so I could do the two other US Pro Series 70.3. So when you're planning your year, there's just a lot of different moving parts. And then if something doesn't go right, you have to be able to be willing to pivot and just know that you can do well in races when your prep doesn't look normal, when you have a different lead in, it doesn't really matter. You're still in shape. You did all the work at some point. It's never going to really be the same anyways.
Yeah, there's a little bit of luck involved now with the Pro Series, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if mechanicals come to town. And then for the female athletes, you're right. There's a couple of outliers there at the moment that you could still finish on the podium at a Pro Ironman Series race, but not actually achieve great points if someone has an absolute flyer, like you say, like a Solveig or a Taylor Knibb or one of the other women that are racing for, victory at the world champs and so forth. So it is a bit of a game of chess, but there's some real luck that's required as well.
Yeah, chess and luck. And at the end of the day, you just put together your best season possible and kind of see where that lands. It's suited me the last couple of years to just play a little bit of the chess, but then also just say, like, it's going to be what it's going to be. There's all you can really do is your own day. And, when you're in the race towards the end of the season and you see someone ahead of you that is close by you in the Pro Series, then you better go past that person. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So
getting your world champ slots, though, is important as well. And there's, I think, a Pro Tri News, especially on the men's side of thing, and I'll draw you for your opinion on watching the men's racing. Some people have put a lot of emphasis on a race early in the year as to where they'll get their Kona qualification from, and some have fallen really flat for the men. And I think there's not a lot of opportunities left, and we see how competitive these Pro Series races are now. For you in Texas, that would have been a huge tick. And am I right? Was it Dallas where you got your Nice World Champ 70.3 confirmation, or was it La Quinta last year?
Yeah, I think I did at least one or two last year that would have done. I don't stress about world champs. I mean, there's so many races. I think for guys, it is actually an issue, though.
Yeah.
The Pro Series races are really competitive, but it's just a lot harder the earlier in the year you show up. So as the year goes, all the top guys will have their slots. And so when you're coming to Lake Placid, there's going to be more opportunities. Or if you're going, I don't know. I think it still is hard. And if you're somebody that's kind of on the bubble for men or women, then it's tough because you may want to score points in the Pro Series, but you almost have to go non-Pro Series.
Yeah, to
and
get
try
your qualification.
And knock that out if you aren't sure you're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. How many Ironmans do you see Jackie Herring tolerating in a year to be competitive at the big races at the end of the year as well? What do you think your body at early 40s years of age can cope with from a racing perspective?
Well, I would never do more than 3 nowadays. Unless I can't even think of a reason I would do more than 3. There's no reason whatsoever. No, because for the Pro Series, you only need 3. And if one you don't make it, hopefully you get done. You don't make it before you have to go running, and then it's easy to just do another one.
Well, the big tick of the box in Texas, and an interesting Dallas race as well earlier in the year, Oceanside as well. So it's been a pretty decent start to the year. So from a Texas perspective, are you happy with the overall race?
Yes. Overall, happy with it. I think I did. It was interesting. My main goal of that race was to do my nutrition correctly and execute a smart and consistent race. And I did that in a really conservative manner. And I feel very successful about that because it taught me a really good lesson, which I needed to learn because I did so many dumb things in Kona. And I think I did the dumb things in Kona because when I'm in good shape, I feel like sometimes, some people race on attack mode and they're taking chances. And I just don't think that that's me. And I don't think that that's smart to do in Ironman. And in Kona, I did that. And I messed up my nutrition because I don't know why. I was lazy or something. So I needed to right all those wrongs. And in Texas, I did that very smoothly. And yes, I think I can probably ride harder and ride better. And I also know for a fact that I can run faster, but
Yeah.
I just needed to get
Yeah.
something nice and steady, nothing crazy under my belt to
Yeah.
feel like in control of that distance. So I did that and it was very smooth and positive and so I'm happy with that. It was execution as I wanted to do it.
Yeah. Do you get, are you someone who's, really smitten with the return to Kona? Do you see Kona as, the jewel in the crown that you need to get to every single year? It seems North American athletes we've all thought that Kona's a fantastic race to get to and race, but do you enjoy the race in Kona?
I have not enjoyed it many times.
Says,
It's hurt me a
says
lot
someone
of
who loves
times.
running snowshoes through Wisconsin
I mean, I
weather.
like the heat too. I do, but I I think if I can practice smart execution, then I will enjoy it a little bit better, and I think I can do that. That's my goal this year is to just do a decent job, like try not to do anything crazy and do my day as I planned to last year, but I didn't because I went crazy and who knows why. It's just Kona gets in you and it makes you do crazy stuff.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I still getting inside the top 20, but it's always a difficult race. And having some familiarity with racing in hot conditions, Texas didn't really give as much heat as what it normally would. What was Cairns like for you last year when you came across and won there? Because Cairns can be a particularly hot race as well. There's one thing racing a 70.3 in the heat, but there's another thing racing a full Ironman in that kind of heat.
Yeah, it was pretty warm. It wasn't like Kona hot in Cairns, but
Yeah,
it was warm. And Texas was warm and humid, but not as warm
yeah,
as I think it usually gets. So I'm fine with those conditions, and I think I'm good at staying cool. It's all about if you do the nutrition right on the bike and you stay on top of it, magically you can still keep running. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah. Funny that, isn't it?
it's weird.
As you've had more time become available to you as the kids gone off to school, and obviously had some fantastic success, have you changed training at all, or are you this dichotomy at the moment that as you've aged, the kids have gone away, you're actually training more than you ever have before? And where would you where would you pigeonhole yourself in terms of training volume at your age? What works for you across all three disciplines?
Well, I have a really good groove going really the last few years. So I have tried out a couple different coaches and I'm
Yep,
self-coached this year, which is really what I did most of my years.
yep,
I did 1 year with 2024 with Ian O'Brien because I
that's
just
right.
needed to get back in a routine. I needed somebody to push me and I needed to have confidence heading into my first Ironman
Yep,
that I had
yep,
done the work necessary.
yep,
So that was good. It got me over that hump. And then last year I was with Natasha Vandemerwa,
yep.
NDVM, a big US coach. And that was more of I don't know. It was like collaborative. I felt like she was on the journey with me, and so she was it was much more of kind of the opposite of Ian. It was much more of good job.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. I
A,
was
a, a cheerleader rather than a
it
director.
it was a bit of that. Like she wrote me some good training for sure,
Yep.
but it wasn't. I didn't feel like I was getting any headway. Really,
Okay.
I was just kind of pretty stagnant, and so yeah, around Kona time, I started going my own way there, and it's been good. Honestly, just I just kind of take things from all the different years of learning, and I know what
Yep.
works for me, and I'm generally around the low maybe like 22 hours is kind of the average. But I'd say my main ethos of training is just consistency over time.
Yep.
Show up every day. I'm never doing really anything too crazy that I can't show up and train the next day.
Yeah.
I'm just never really overdoing it. I'm kind of just doing it. And that kind of adds up. And I like to throw in a lot of races. Like I like to race a lot of half marathons and things that'll like give you that hard stimulus. And just put yourself in that environment so you can just feel it out.
There's a lot of decent bike groups around town, isn't there? That weren't you quite popular amongst a lot of the chain gangs that ride around Wisconsin? Is that where you get a lot of? Do you still do that? And do you get a bit of your quality work there on the biking groups?
I haven't much the last couple of years. You know, something happened to my top end. That is probably the main difference. When I switched, that is the sad part. It's like something with like
40 years.
Yeah. Training for Ironman, 40 years. And I swear the guys on their bikes are now getting younger and younger. They're like 20-year-olds. Like I can sit in the pace line, but then when we hit a hill, it's like they're going that way and I'm going that way. So I can't. It's just not working anymore.
Okay. So when you sit here at this point in your career, do you have things that you feel that you still need to improve on from a physical fitness perspective in any of the disciplines? Or do you just feel that if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Let's just keep doing what we're doing because we're competitive, as it stands at the moment. And there's no point in changing things for that reason.
I don't think I should change too much at this point because, like, knock on wood, I'm healthy. My body's super happy. Everything seems to be working and I'm racing well. You know, I can feel, that's the nice part about racing a lot, is you can feel at what points in the race, like when something is a strength and weakness, and then you can address that. So I'm more, at a lot of points last year, I would feel like the last 20 miles of the bike ride, I was like dogging it. Like I need transition bad. And I think part of that might have been my nutritional execution, but part of it I think was also just general endurance and durability. And I seem to have addressed that and fixed that because I felt better and better as the ride went in Texas. So to me, it's just really kind of assessing things and paying close attention to how I'm feeling and kind of going from there.
Yeah. What's the rest of the year looking like then? So staying North American focused with the Pro Ironman series. So what are we talking about in terms of Jackie's calendar from here on out?
So I think I'm recovering well enough potentially to go down to Chattanooga in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And
you love Chattanooga. Downriver swim. I think probably, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, did you overtake Paula Finley to win the 70.3 there? I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago. It might have been Paula.
Yeah, some year.
Yeah. You would have outrun her and then invited her on your podcast just to talk about that race.
Well, we ran together. I invited her to run with me the whole time. I don't know where she went. She probably doesn't listen to this show. But I'll tell her I said that.
Yeah. I'll send her the excerpt. We'll use it as one of our shorts that we can promote.
Well, she's racing again, so we'll see if I can be around her. But I'll do that. Happy Valley, which is the North American 70.3 champs. I've never been there, so looking forward to that. And then Boise is another pro series, 70.3. So then I have one more Ironman, and I think I'm going to go over to Sweden.
Oh.
Because it looks beautiful.
Yes. And is it a female-only race this year?
No, that one's men and women, I think.
Okay. And it's it's a Pro Ironman series race.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So it is a pretty fast and flat and fast bike course. I had a pro do it last year, and he they loved the experience, thought it was a fantastic race. So certainly getting another sort of European feel to the race and getting outside North America.
Well, I like that because there's a lot more, no offense to your European listeners, but there's a lot more slower swimmers and strong bikers. So if I don't have a great swim, I know there's some firepower coming up to bring me in.
Back to the front. Okay. Yeah. Well, not to say that the swimming is a weakness, but you've certainly put a lot more effort into your swimming since we last spoke.
I swim every day.
You were like a seasonal swimmer back then. Swim in the summer, don't swim in the winter. So the approach to your swimming really, with the full distance, it does matter now, doesn't it, really? It's certainly, you were doing so well again with your 70.3 racing, but the level of athlete that's racing in the Pro Ironman series, it can't be left unattended, the swim.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think you can kind of fake it in a 70.3, or at least I can. I grew up a swimmer. I swam 1,000,000 yards over the course of my life. So I could definitely fake it with 2 or maybe 3 swims a week when I was racing 70.3s. But now I've been really lucky to land a couple good swim groups. I've got an early morning group that I do 3 days a week, and then a midday group 2 days a week. So I'm swimming with people every single day.
Wow.
Although I have a strict no weekend swim policy still, and I will ride that till I die. But I love swimming.
It's certainly more swimming than what you did back in 2000.
It's a lot of swimming. It is, but with people, it goes by well. And if I don't have people, then I just don't do it. So
okay, all right. Well, look. Certainly what's happened in the last couple of years as you return to the full distance has proven that the swim, the bike and the run are all very strong, and I'm sure they're going to continue to do so. So we do wish you all the best with the rest of the season. Super excited to see how that all plays out for you. Hoping for a massive payday at the end of the Pro Series for you, much like the last couple of years. And thank you so much for taking the time out to come back on the show to catch up with where you've been in the last couple of years. And from the podcast perspective, who do we have lined up in the future that people can go to and listen to your conversations on the Women's Race Pod?
Ooh, well, you'll enjoy. I'm recording with Hannah Barry this week.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep. They will, the New Zealand crew will love to tune into that. Yep. Let's see who else. I'm going to have Indy Lee. I've got her coming up. I've got Alice Alberts.
Excellent. I want to speak to Alice on my podcast as well. And getting Indy's good because Indy doesn't do a lot of podcasts. So well done there.
She sent a very quick yes. So. Wow. Her and I are pretty friendly. I think that's the thing. I'm friendly. I'm not intimidating. I'm not going to ask any scary questions. Don't be scared of me, ladies. Come on my show.
Come on your show.
Yeah. We got, actually, Grace Theck is also signed up. I got a lot of people, we got the roster lined up. I'm building out the calendar.
Perfect. So at the moment, we can put the Instagram contact for the Women's Race Pod that you put up there. That's the first point to go and see what you've produced and where it's heading.
Yeah. Yep. On the Instagram page in the bio are the links where you can listen. And that's all I know how to do.
Well, look, as I say, it's great to get more of the women talking to women about their the front end of the professional racing world and some of the dynamics that play out there. I'm sure there's some stuff that goes on that none of us men know anything about. So it's good that you're asking.
I don't know about that, but there is a lot that goes on that the camera doesn't see.
Yes. Yeah.
I
just want to hear these conversations that you have with athletes out on the course to say, look, I'm going to run this pace. I'm more than happy for you to come along.
Just come with me.
We can have a picnic at the aid stations. We can share some stories. When it gets to the last 5Ks, every woman for themselves.
Well, I try to drop them before the last 5K because that's cutting it a little close.
Well, you're giving away your race tactics now, mate.
No, you never know. They could drop me too. It could go any which way. It really can, true. But I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll put links to the podcast and to your Instagram page in our show notes. It's been
Cool.
wonderful to catch up again, and we hope to see you at a race in the future.
Yes. Thank you very much.